We're
Oh,
going live. We are now
what's up,
live.
everybody?
It
Yo, yo,
is
yo.
live. We are live when we have the cat cam tonight.
Yeah.
Right there, we got Dorian Gray sleeping, and then right behind the camera, we got Salty Bear, who's too busy sniffing the camera to make his appearance.
I don't know. He's looking kind of handsome.
Oh yeah, he's a lady killer.
We got softies. We got softies in the house.
Yeah, so Salty is really bad. Like when there's girls that come over, right? Whatever reason they're coming over for, it doesn't matter. He will
Right.
sit there and flirt and flirt and flirt. I mean, he likes attention, but when it
Yeah.
comes to girls, he gets out of control. Weird. Like he will
Yeah,
like
yeah,
get
yeah.
up on them and roll around on the ground and be like, "Oh, look at me, love me, look at me, love me." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just
That is
too much.
that is the thing with cats, though, isn't it? Isn't it the case that generally, I think the males tend to like really go after the females and vice versa.
Is it? Because I don't think that's a consistent to my experience. But
It's
I
it's
mean,
just what I've heard. I mean, I
but
don't
I
consider
did have a
myself an
female. I did
expert.
have a female cat once that when she was in heat before I got her fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I would speak, she would meow. So I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool." Meow. Because my voice, the depth in my voice or whatever was enough to like make her want to meow all the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was
yeah,
I always found that kind of interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I think there is something to it, and I know that all the male cats that I've had that they always really took to any ladies that I was living with. That they were
Okay,
always the favorite.
the
And
ladies were the favorite.
oh yeah, without a doubt. Oh God, and especially my mom. My cats always loved my mom. She was always Ichiban. Any cat I had while I was living with my mom, yeah. For always like I was, I was always content just being number two. If because I've only had male cats, I've never had female cats.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of cats, but there's one cat that I got because of my one of my girlfriends back then, and it was a stray cat, like a baby cat that was abandoned,
Yeah.
and we, technically fed it, and it was taken care of by a big pit bull. So that cat,
Oh.
that
Wait,
cat,
the
I
cat was
freaking
being
loved
taken
it.
care of by a pit bull. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
Oh.
So that cat ended up being like a dog.
Mhm.
Would obey like a dog, sit, roll over, wait for me at the door
Really?
with the wagging tail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would make so much money if I could get a
Love
cat
that
to
cat.
do dog tricks.
Love that cat.
I'm telling you, people that tell me that they don't like cats, I always say you've never met a dog in a cat's body, and I've been lucky enough to have two in my life that were just like, just like dogs in the sense that they come when you called them, very very affectionate, just
They give you the
the whole
paw. You
nine.
can ask them to roll over. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Some
Yeah.
are dumb. Some are smart.
yes,
Salty,
no,
roll
that's true.
over.
Yeah, yeah.
Salty,
And some are
roll over.
some are they're
Roll
like
over.
people.
He's not gonna roll over.
Yeah, he's like F you.
He's like, you roll over. Fuck that. I'm comfy.
Yeah, but the thing is that they learn probably by noticing that the dog would do it. Right, we'd
Oh.
ask the dog to sit, so it knows that when we say sit, it should sit. So it get used to the same. It starts behaving like a dog more than anything. Like
Yeah.
there's a reason why cats are really good predators. They adapt.
Oh, and there's a big myth that they can't be trained. There's this Russian fellow and his daughter who have like evidently a very lucrative cat show that they put on in Las Vegas, where they adopt cats and they become part of the family. They're not just like show cats.
Yeah,
They become part of the
wait,
family.
I just want to stop you in the middle of your story before you go too far, because I'll forget. Cats
Right.
can't be trained, but they can be encouraged, coerced, convinced. You know what I mean? But dogs will do what their owners do out of loyalty. Cats will not do it out of loyalty. They will do it for a treat. They will do it for bribery.
Right.
They will do it because they want to. You know what I mean?
That sounds like that sounds kind of like training to me. All I know
Oh,
is I've
no.
seen these cats like jumping through hoops and like running on tight ropes and doing all kinds of wacky shit. And of course, it's 100 times more impressive because it's a cat doing these things rather than a dog. So yeah, but we're not here to talk about cats tonight. We're here to talk about Hammer Time. I got my T-shirt. Thank you, my friend Charles Burns, if he's watching. Thank you for making this tea for me. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Hammer, of course, the studio that dripped blood. And I sent Drew a whole bunch of links. Hopefully, we won't get copyright struck.
Oh no,
Hopefully-
we're definitely gonna get a copyright claim with the links you sent me. I mean, a lot of them are the same freaking video, just different parts of it. Yeah, we're gonna do that, but hopefully the video doesn't get yanked off of YouTube. You know what I mean. Facebook won't yank it. They might like stall it out if they get a complaint, but.
Right.
But we will try our best to.
Yes, we shall.
See that.
Yes, we shall.
Now, I didn't get to preview all the links you sent me, so I'm just going to throw a disclaimer now. I did not preview the links you sent me.
Well, I gave you a booby alert on one of them.
Yes, I did. I did see that, the booby alert on the time thing. Then that I'll try and remember to pay attention to. Yeah. But like it's like did you send me a bunch? I mean, I know the first like few you sent me were from a documentary, and I was like, I had to actually ask, are there actual clips in there, or are we just going to watch interviews? I mean, because
no, it's from a series that Mark Gatiss did called History of Horror. Mark Gatiss is probably best known as being one of the creators of The League of Gentlemen, which is a British TV series, a comedy series. He also was the creator of Sherlock, the modernized Sherlock Holmes series, and also more recently the BBC / Netflix Dracula series. And he's somebody who did a sort of like a connoisseur's guide to horror, but also a introduction. So if you're like a novice, you can watch those documentaries, and learn something. But they're very personal, which is to say, the films that he focuses on are his own personal favorites, which I think is one of the things that's really great about that series. But he also does a lot of cool stuff. He visits a lot of cool locations. He got to actually play with Lon Chaney's makeup kit.
Ooh.
Like evidently, like that. It's at Universal. He had to put on special gloves and everything. But he actually got to handle his grease paint and all of his little gimmicks, and also the life mask that Chaney made. Because he figured it would be easier to make a cast of his own head to try out makeup. So he didn't have to look in the mirror. He could try it out on the head. Make sure that everything was form fitting.
Did I see that fucking thing? I'm trying to remember if that was Universal Studios at one time. They had like all kinds of actual like people's busts that they used for experimenting on themselves, including Alfred Hitchcock, which tripped me out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much anybody that's ever been, any actor that's had like serious makeup put on, especially special effects makeup, has had a life cast taken of their head, which involves basically lying there and having straws jammed up your nose, which you have to breathe through, and basically it's like being buried alive in like plaster of Paris. Evidently, it's not a very pleasant experience, especially for people who suffer from claustrophobia. And one of the movies we're going to be discussing tonight, as a matter of fact, The Reptile, the lead actress who plays the reptile of the title, she's sort of like a werewolf, except instead of turning into a wolf, she turns into like a snake woman. Would freak out periodically and just start pawing at the makeup and tearing it off her face because she felt like she was being buried alive. Yeah, not and you know, my goodness, man, you know, anybody that's done any special makeup effects knows that the actors have to be real troopers, because that means sitting in a chair doing nothing for
Long
like
hours.
yeah, man, like 3 or 4 hours
That's even more.
a session. Yeah. And
Hey,
you know,
I know
yeah,
people
sometimes
that
even
do
more.
that. I know people that do that all day,
Yeah.
every day. They sit in a chair and do nothing.
I would think, you know, it would be cool, you know, like I think I'd be
Yeah,
okay
but
because
okay,
I
you're
meditate,
doing
you know.
nothing but breathing through straws
Yeah.
and only through your
Ooh.
nose with a whole bunch of
That just
wax.
seems like more of a challenge.
So
We
yeah,
got everybody say hi to Black Star. We got Black Star in the chat there. She's
What up,
going
Black
on
Star?
hammer shirt and talking about the cat's meow. And we got metal movies and brewskis is there. Lothar D.
Metal.
Hail, what's up? Hail.
Lothar D.
Let's see. We got it. We got the full house. Now I did just everybody's like, well, how come she doesn't come in and hang out with us in the actual panel? She told me ahead of time that they have internet issues. So she has a link. If the internet issues clears up, she's more than welcome. She knows she is. It's just
Always.
that we got to
Yeah.
respect the fact that her network
That's
is
why
crap, and you know,
the cat is just there as their seat holder. So imagine that it's her there.
Dorian can just be her
and,
seat
and
holder.
we'll be reading the chat for her. Yeah.
And Dorian will read the chat for her.
But we will.
Oh,
Dorian doesn't give a fuck. He's sleeping. He's like, screw
yeah,
you
Dorian's
guys.
out.
Yeah,
Look at me
man.
sleep.
That's the thing about
Okay,
cats, man.
So
Them,
this is the picture. This is the picture Brian sent me. All right, look
Well,
how small this is.
I
What am I
know.
going to use this for, man?
you gotta blow it up, because I wasn't able to find a large version of that, but I just think it's very illustrative of what the Hammer movies were like culturally in England. As you can see, what is that? It's an X certificate. Now, anybody that's seen any of the Hammer movies knows that they are, I would say, quaint by contemporary standards. Very often very cozy. They can be quite gruesome, but even when they're gruesome in a sort of a jolly way. But yeah, back then, yes, this got an X rating by the British, by the BFI, the British Film Institute review board.
Now, didn't they stop X ratings? Like the single X and double X are pretty much passe now, right? You go right from NC-17 to triple.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
this was like the 1950s,
Okay.
you know, and you know, X was never meant to indicate sexual content. It was meant to indicate like adults only, and this was considered an adults only movie.
Yeah, X meant
Rated. What rated R would mean now? That's what it used.
No. See, an X-rated movie would not be played in a normal movie theater under any conditions, whereas you'll get R in C-17.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But before R was not shown in theater. That's what I'm saying. Like stuff that would be an
Was
R
it not?
right now, it was not back then. Because I remember when I was young that when the X shit started, you had X, double X, and triple X.
Triple X.
Okay,
and
well,
triple X meant porn.
Well, like for instance, Barbarella, when it was first released, was X-rated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
now, and then in the 80s, it got classified PG, and then I believe it got reclassified R.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right now, it would be R because it's overly sexualized themes, and you wouldn't want a little kid watching that.
No.
no, definitely not. And
Especially
then
watching that big machine there. that looks like a future Sona, but somebody can play the notes right.
Yeah,
Right.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing in my mind these days. The rating system is almost like passe because kids can get on the internet and you can see worse things on the internet
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah,
on a couple of keystrokes than you can
Yeah,
find
but
in a
maybe,
movie theater
you
over
can
the course
still,
of entire history.
You can still educate your kid and try and control it as much as you can for
Yes,
early
that's
age
where
until they reach at least 13.
right.
At
Well, your kid's not going to the movie theater by themselves before they're
No.
13. So
No, and you can control the internet access.
What does Vaughn think on that? Vaughn, what do you
What up,
think?
Vaughn?
What up, guys? How you doing? What do I think on what?
Hammer time.
You don't want to know.
The X rating thing. We were just talking.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. What's the history of that? Didn't they invent that for Deep Throat or something? When did they invent that?
Well, people
like
forget.
Yeah, they invented that, and people realized that like it became a really good marketing tool.
It
That's
did.
how you got people to watch your movies.
It did, but then it also became potentially the kiss of death for certain films and certain filmmakers. When George Romero released Dawn of the Dead, for instance, here in the States, he didn't even put it up to the MPAA review board because he was like, "This is going to get an X rating." Now, of course, it would get like a PG-13 maybe or an R, because of the The Walking Dead is way more explicit, and it's on television.
Well, it's interesting. I actually would say that today our rating system, as ambiguous and bizarre as it is, like we don't know who makes these decisions. We don't, you know what I mean? Like we don't know their qualifications and stuff. Like I would say it's actually more strict today than it's ever been. And they give you like in back when we grew up in the 80s, like you could have like a fuck in your movie. You could have
you can still have one. You can still have one. You can have one
for PG-13, right?
Right. If you say fuck twice, it becomes R.
It becomes R.
Star Wars was actually going to get a G rating, and the studio was so upset that it was going to get a G rating that they inserted a shot of this cantina creature's severed arm lying on the floor of the cantina,
which is a great shot.
Which is a great shot, but that was not originally there. That's an insert, and they put that in there to get the PG rating.
Nice. And then I'm pretty sure a Jawa was like, fuck, real quick. Just a real quick fuck.
And then of course there was the NC-17 rating, which was created primarily for art films.
Wait. I actually know which film
The Cook Beneath His Wife and Her Lover.
I was actually working in the movie theaters when NC-17 came out.
Yeah.
It was Wild. What was it? Wild Orchid. Wild Orchid.
Oh yeah,
the movie that triggered the NC-17 because they said because they really had sex, but they didn't show anything, and so they're like, well, we can't make that R because they're really having sex, so we're gonna make that NC-17. You know what I mean? Because we can't make it X because they're not showing anything. You know what I mean? So it was.
But was that the first one? Because I thought it was.
I don't know if that was the first one. That was the first one I was aware of, and I know that's when they made NC-17, and that was like the first movie at the theater that I was working in that was an NC-17 movie theater. So if there was another one before that, it didn't go on the public. It didn't go on the public theater scenes.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure it was The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, and that was an art film. So that wasn't playing at the multiplexes in general anyway. But the whole point was that, okay, this is a way of saying, okay, this is like a really adult movie, but it doesn't have explicit sex in it. That is to say, like hardcore penetration, cum shots, and all that stuff. But all that good stuff.
He's got the list. Wait. What's the list again?
Well, it's penetration, cum shots.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why when it started, like I said before, it was X, double X, triple X, and you know when you were getting by something that would not be playing on from 5 to 8 or 5 to 9 on TV, right? Something that would be playing only for adult past 10. That it'd be for violence, gore, anything. Horror was at X, was 2X if I'm not mistaken.
Well, so if I understand the whole violent, the X rated
2 was horror, 3 was the porn.
Now, to my understanding, and I think it's still like a laws on the books, is that the whole purpose of the rating system is to, what's considered socially acceptable and available, and what can be played with what. So, like, there are no movie theaters that allow X movies and PG movies, right? So, like, you either are crossing the X line or you're not, right? So. That's where the ratings, and then so like that's why there was X, double X, and triple X, because it was a time of day they could be shown at but now they don't. That it's irrelevant. So you know what I mean.
That's why you always had one big theater to show all the big movies, and not too far from it, You have one of those little like theater that you could, for half price, and you could see all those goddamn movies showing there. You could watch 3 of them in a row for like $10.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was an old porn theater actually not far from where I am now that is now a community center. And a friend of mine and I were just like spitballing, daydreaming, throwing stupid ideas around the way that guys will when they're, toking and drinking. And we were like, damn, wouldn't it be great if we could buy that place and restore it to its former filthy glory?
Yeah, I don't know. I do know this though, that when last time I was in New York, I fucking tripped out, but because when I fucking walked down the street, just fucking, city street, I would fucking see porn shop. Yeah, walk down the street a little bit further. Porn theater, walk down the street a little bit further. Porn shop, walk down. I mean, like, okay, and this was like just like regular commercial. Like they're in between those porn shops, there'd be music stores and clothing stores, and I'm like, holy fuck, there's so many fucking porn places and like little fucking like nickel video places and fucking.
What year was that?
This was definitely not the 2000s.
I was 19, so that would have been 92.
Yeah, pre-Disneyfication, way pre-Disneyfication. Did you go to the Show World? Because that was like the really, really greasy place. Like that was like.
I didn't go into any of them. Because I was actually on the way to somewhere.
Okay. Sure you were, sir. But like we were talking about ratings in England, of course.
By the way, we got Beaner Bob and King Toad Comics. Welcome, guys. Zaid Comics. Hey, Phil. What's up, buddy? Rot 10 is in the house.
What's up, guys? What up, Phil Pops? What's up, Beaner Bob? What's up, King Toad? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Yes, we are talking Hammer Time. Once again, check out my shirt from my friend Charles made this for me.
Check out my shirt.
And yeah, okay. So Hammer Films was a studio that started out, I think, making sort of like risque comedies and gradually moved into making horror films. The very first one is the one that we're looking at the poster for here, which is The Curse of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And what they did was they actually made a deal with Universal. Like the way that Disney has sort of leased or rather Sony has leased Spider-Man out to Disney. Universal was leasing their monsters out to Hammer Films Productions. And the very first one of those films was The Curse of Frankenstein. And it starred Peter Cushing as the not-so-good Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and featured Christopher Lee as the monster. In I believe was it Stuart Freeborn's very, very gruesome makeup. And the interesting thing about this movie is that although the Hammer, it's really set the standard for the studio, which is to say, you had really bright colored everything, right? Because this is when you had like that really popping sort of Technicolor, right? And before that, people were thinking, my goodness, once color film came along, what are you going to do? Like, the horror genre is dead. You can't make a horror movie in color. Hammer was the studio that showed that you could. And boy, they let the red groovy run like a fountain.
And damn, StreamYard gave me a toy to fuck with. Now I can switch windows.
That's cool. That's cool.
So it's always something I've wanted, but it's like I can sit here and just like change everybody's place. Just
you might want to run the first clip that I sent you. I think it's the first clip that gives you like a little bit of an introduction to
from the documentary. Let's see if we can keep ourselves from getting struck here.
We'll see. That's okay. I'll still find a way to blame you.
Sure.
That's really not going to work because I picked all the links. Damn it.
You know, I'm looking at pictures from our goddamn commercials.
I know. Fucking hate those things, man.
Damn Fred Armistead.
All right, we're gonna do this differently. We're gonna do the off and ons, which is I find annoying, but
doing it different. Off and on, doing it different.
On. I hope you're a Hammer fan.
Dude, I love Hammer. Don't
Right
hurt him.
answer. Right answer.
Yeah. I Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
Dracula.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. You have
Okay,
my
so why
favorite
don't you talk over it so that we don't get struck for the whole audio?
Oh, okay.
And Hammer Films want a monster. Any suggestions?
And here is
what are we looking at? So
Christopher Lee. This is the big reveal of the monster. If you remember in James Whale's 1932 Frankenstein, how does the monster enter the room? He backs in, like comes through a doorway like this, and turns, and boom! Yep. And then suddenly moves into a close-up. Here you have a zoom that's sped up as the monster suddenly pulls his bandages off, and next thing you know, you're nose to nose with him.
Nice. Yeah.
Oof. Gruesome.
He looks blind in one eye.
Yes, absolutely.
Dead tissue and all.
Yep. And also, he Frankenstein even says in this that we're not worried about aesthetic sensibilities. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Let's see if we can get this dead flesh to move. And the interesting thing about the Hammer Frankenstein series is that they're not really about the monster. The monster is always interchangeable. There's a different monster in every movie. In the Hammer Frankenstein series, Frankenstein is the monster. And he starts out as a murderous sociopath in this. By the time you get 3 or 4 movies into the series, like Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, he's like a rapist and a serial killer.
Mm. He just gets worse and worse.
Yes.
I mean, who knew playing with so much dead tissue would have that effect?
Hammer found their monster in a little-known actor called Christopher Lee, who at 6'4" was a startling screen presence.
He's huge.
Yep. And it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, just buddies,
yeah, and the two of them were fast friends, and of course made a buttload of movies together. Many of them, of course, Hammer films. Usually
but no buttload movies. Just so we're clarified, there was no buttload movies.
No. But usually,
wrong kind of hammer. Wrong kind of hammer. Just so we're aware.
Yeah. Christopher Lee playing Dracula, and of course the Peter Cushing playing Van Helsing.
Did you have any opinion?
Yeah. So one of the things that makes the Hammer movies so special is that even though the plots could be ludicrous, sometimes the scenes could be ludicrous, the scripts were very often thrown together literally in a matter of weeks. Jimmy Sangster, who was the Hammer Studios screenwriter, wrote a autobiography that he titled, "Do You Want It Good or by Tuesday?" And frequently was told, dude, we need a script yesterday. You got 2 weeks. So, it didn't always turn out so great, but they were always directed with panache by people like Freddie Francis and Terrence Fisher and Roy Ward Baker. But most importantly, they were always acted with balls out conviction by the cast. That's to say, no matter how ludicrous they could be, the actors were always playing it 110% straight. Metal Movie The Brewskis, what's up, man? Says Chris Lee was metal. Oh, God, we could go off about that now, couldn't we?
Well, didn't he do a metal album? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He has
Yeah, he did. And was like a badass in World War II, evidently. Worked for Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Mm.
And what are we looking at here? This is from Curse of Frankenstein still, I think. Yeah, I believe so.
Incredibly powerful images like this
Oh,
one.
no. This is Plague of the Zombies.
Nice. Willem Dafoe's in this.
Yeah, listen to this scream. Or rather, it's like a cackle.
Amazing.
Thumped her. Yeah, that's an incredible scene. That's an unforgettable moment right there. And then, of course, this really amazing dream sequence. Yeah,
Nice.
Plague of the Zombies. The actors were wearing
Most of
I
the zombie
believe-
action takes
the Oakley Court. I think you fellows are going to recognize this building. Look familiar to you?
No.
Any of y'all ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah,
Is that the castle from Rocky Horror?
That's the castle from Rocky Horror. It's also the castle from. It's also the castle from Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Also, the
I'm trying to
castle-
think if I ever saw a picture of the castle from Rocky Horror during the daytime.
It's also the castle in I believe the Reptile, the Gorgon, of course Plague of the
Yeah,
Zombies.
they got married at the castle. They got married outside the castle in the Brad and Janet scene. That was the wedding they were at, their friend's wedding. That was out in front of the castle, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is right now a hotel.
Deep, but I swam it, Janet.
Guess where I'm staying when I get a chance to visit England. As a matter of fact, I even have a Hammer travel guide. I have to run upstairs and get that at some point. That is literally a guide to all the locations that you've seen in the movie. So if you're a fan and
He shows up in
Banana
Germany. He's like, I thought this was a part of the Hammer travel guide. We got you a hammer for our travel guide.
well, the movies were usually set in Germany, but they were usually filmed around the corner from Bray Studios.
I'm just trying to say is that in Germany you often think you're gonna end up in one kind of place and then you end up in another. That's a common occurrence in Germany.
Is it really?
Yes, and it's not always sexual.
Have you been there? Have you partied there?
I have had a lot of friends tell me about their freaking stories from Germany.
Yeah.
I have not been to Germany yet, but I have been warned a million times to not go into a strange place.
Oh man. Well, I mean, oh god, I'm not even going to start.
No matter what the sign says, no matter what the advertisement looks like, do not trust it. It's something cultural about Germany where they have they use their titling and marketing imagery not the same way we see it. Let's just put it that way.
That's interesting. 'Cause, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, so that could be a recent development. One place I really hope hasn't changed is Amsterdam. Ooh, boy.
Yeah. Amsterdam is what you see is what you get, pretty much.
Most definitely. I want to do Oktoberfest before I die. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Metal.
I could totally go there for Oktoberfest. I'm down for that because there's things I've heard about Oktoberfest that are amazing. I mean, it really is just one big fucking huge fair. I mean, it's what it really is, with lots and lots and lots of beer and lots of knickknacks for sale and beer steins. Fucking more beer steins than you could probably fucking find. You know what I mean? Different casts and all kinds of stuff.
You can't forget them. That's I like to think that when I go through the pearly gates, there's going to be a large-breasted beer Mädchen waiting for me with two big frosty steins.
And if you go, and I understand that at Oktoberfest in certain most locations that have you know, like the party, because I guess Oktoberfest is more than one spot. You know what I mean? It's kind of like spread out.
Yeah.
The fun places are the ones they actually make sure you are of age, because the ladies that serve you beer have boobies that fall out of their tops on the regular.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
And I don't mean like they're just like busting out the top.
No,
I mean like,
no.
like they bend over and then boobies, bloop, bloop, and they stand up and they bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah. Oh, the Germans are very cool about nudity. That's for sure. But speaking of boobies, one of the things also about the Hammer movies was they were very much about the boobies. Yes, the booby dresses.
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness, man. Yes, those tops. Yeah, where they look like they're just about to pop out.
Yeah.
And you know, I've had this discussion. I think we've had this discussion before, where once they actually were able to actually like put nudity in their films, and they started doing it, they became less sexy. Like it was sexier when you had the booby dresses. When they just started showing straight up tig bitties, it was just like, eh.
The thrill was gone. The art of the tease is a powerful thing.
Yes.
That's why there's girls who don't strip, but still like almost, you know, they tease you, they show you, they do a thing on stage, you get happy, you know, it's more beautiful, it's more erotic, whatever.
The difference is the art of the tease requires a woman to be more beautiful, requires her to carry herself more beautiful. It requires her to behave more like a lady. No, it actually requires a different kind of person. So like if you were to have the art of the tease in every one of your movies like that, if that was all you were allowed to do, it would limit your spectrum of character. You know what I mean?
Huh.
So it really comes down to what you're trying to sell, the story that you're trying to sell. Like I can see stories that would go better with some fucking toothless fucking whore fucking, you know, all like right there, whereas, you know, the other ones would be like, you know, like for instance, if you're trying to sell, if you're trying to, or I went to the exaggeration, to the extreme on that, but say if you're trying to sell like the concept of you're not the things that you're not supposed to do, the stuff you're not supposed to do, like the kids that have sex always die in the slasher movie. You know what I mean? So like if you're trying to sell one of those things, then it's a little easier to push the extremes on the sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. That's a cute. Who's your buddy there, Vaughn?
This is Jasper.
Oh, Jasper.
The kitty.
Jasper looks like a softie.
Yeah, he is.
Oh God. Yeah, I was.
Wait. No, wait. We know that Brian's a furry because we're talking about boobs and he got derailed by a cat.
The test, Brian.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because we were going to do this tonight, and I was thinking, okay, let's go chronologically. Let's start with the first one, but I already now want to start just jumping around, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. One of the most iconic images in all of Hammer films is Raquel Welch in 1 Million Years.
No, yeah, I'm not on that one. I got this video up, but I can switch.
Oh, well, here's Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which I should say a couple of words about. Brian Clemens was the guy who created the Avengers. I'm not talking about the Marvel Comics Avengers. I'm talking about the 1960s TV series with Steed and Mrs. Peel. And it was very, very stylish. And he was like the hot writer at the time. And evidently he was in the Hammer Films commissary, hanging out with some people, having a bite to eat. And said, like, geez, you know, Hammer's done Frankenstein, they've done Dracula, they've had a werewolf movie. What are they going to do next? Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde? Anthony Carreras, one of the founders of Hammer Studios, happened to overhear this and turned to him and said, would you be interested in writing that? And the result was Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which is absolutely beautifully cast because, you know, naturally it's a sex change movie. But the actors that are in that, Alan Bates and Martine Beswick, look like they could be brother and sister. You'll see what I'm talking about. Perfect. There he is, going through those painful throws after knocking back that cocktail.
Cramps!
Now watch this shot here. This exactly right.
My penis is sucking up in me.
Yes! Now
Where's
watch
my
this.
penis going?
There's no edit here. There's no edit here. Watch this.
The effects of estrogen. Oh. Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's amazing.
Is that great?
That's a difficult shot to pull off correctly, especially
Very.
since I mean, obviously they're not completely in sync, so they didn't nail it. But
Yeah. And there's the elderly Terrence Fisher who directed that and a whole bunch of the Hammer films. Clemens was also allowed to. Well, he had a deal with Hammer to do 2 films. That was one of them. The other one is my own personal favorite, which is Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. Roddy and I were
all right,
talking.
so
about
you wanted to go over the Cage Woman fight? Is that where you want to go next, or you want to go somewhere else? Tell me where you're going.
Oh,
so I can
well,
get the movie
Tig
queued.
Bitties are always good. If we're talking about Tig Bitties and Raquel,
I
Welch.
just want to make sure I have a moment to make sure that I can avoid the commercials on these things when I queue them up. So I kind
You know
of
what?
want to know which one I'm going after.
Yeah. You
Do
can't
this
lose.
shit.
You can't lose. Tell me if I'm right here, fellas. You can't lose with Raquel Welch and Martine Beswick and Fur Bikinis having a cat fight.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think think that sells the movie on its own. Yeah,
It's every
pretty
night.
much.
Every night before you
And
go to bed.
also special effects by
Okay.
Right,
We
Harry
didn't- he says every night before I go to bed. We didn't need to know that much information.
one of the most iconic posters ever.
Yeah, I actually won that poster, the Cave Woman poster. I actually won that one in at the fair once, playing that dart game where you
Did you
throw and
really?
pop balloons. Yeah, and
Nice.
then my dad took it away from me and hung it
What?
on his I hung it on the inside of his closet door for
That's such
That's
a
cold
like a
blooded.
year or two. Yeah,
harsh dad.
Cold blooded. God damn.
Mine. Oh.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh.
dun, 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 dun.
Cave women and shaved and makeup. I love it.
I know, it's fucking awesome.
Whereas the guys are all dirty and grossly and have beards and the.
Look at that guy loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Martine Beswick was also in a very famous cat fight that's in From Russia with Love.
Oh wow, she's got all the technology.
Yeah, man.
From Russia with Love. So you're talking about the gypsy fight.
Yep.
Oh,
one of
the
the-
legs.
Yep.
May
Yeah.
the best woman win.
Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, kicked her right in the tank.
Yeah. Get her.
By the way, if you're watching one of these Cave Woman movies, the good girls are always the blondes and the brunettes are always the bad girls.
Use rock. Rock good. Yeah.
And she comes from a peaceful tribe, and yeah. And
Can't do it.
yeah. So she's falling in
Why
with
would you
the-
guys want to do that? There's definitely a bad ratio from guys to girls. Like, why kill one off?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, maybe
After
she's not
this
getting-
fight was when we invented the pillow fight for girls, so that everyone would be safer.
a little bit hotter. Yeah, I think most people would remember that poster, the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It plays a very pivotal role in the Shawshank
Shawshank.
Redemption.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good one.
yes, that's the same exact poster. Yes,
Yes.
it's the same exact poster I was talking about.
Metal Movies Zabruski says, anyone seen Caveman with Ringo? Yes.
Yes.
an
That
awesome
movie's
movie.
hilarious.
It is.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It's totally a
Fucking-
spoof.
the ball shot to the Tyrannosaurus Rex is absolutely fucking stupid because I mean it is, but holy shit, that's just the old dude, the blind dude. He's all feeling around. The Tyrannosaurus is all.
Oh man, Barbara Bach, man, smoking hot. Ringo. I always said he was the smart Beatle.
Introduction to Shelley Long.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah.
Dennis Quaid with Ringo Starr. Dennis Quaid is that Took? No, I know he was Law. A Took
Yes.
was Ringo, and he was Law.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't seen that.
Which
in a
is
while.
which is really funny because LOL means laugh out loud now. So
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
and the
Vaughn.
scene where he switches the bug on his face.
Yeah, man, it's great. Oh man, I've gotta hunt that down. I haven't seen it in a long time. I bet it's on Blu-ray.
Dude, that was one of my favorites. I probably saw it in that theater like 4 times. And my dad's
Oh,
like,
man.
"Why do you want to go see this again?" I'm like, "It's funny."
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I haven't seen that in a long time. Metal Movies and Brewski says I have the VHS. Yeah, but do you have the 8-track? Do you have
But do you have a VHS player? Who has those anymore?
Oh, you'd be surprised, man.
Pawn
There's like
shops.
I couldn't
Goodwill.
believe it. I went to
Dude, I'm cracking jokes. I got a tape cassette player right here. All right, so
Yeah,
I was just.
I know.
We know.
Yeah. But they're actually releasing new VHS tapes, like for collectors, because some people are like that into it. But Vaughn, I just wanted to ask you, what's your favorite Hammer movie?
Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
Excellent choice. Second film in the series.
Yeah. And just, I don't know, just Christopher Lee just tearing it up. Just making Dracula less, about stylish gentlemen and more just about like beastly.
Yes.
Demon,
Yes.
blood hungry.
Pure
Yeah.
animal. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. That to me was when the series really hit its peak. Was starting with Dracula, Prince of Darkness, Dracula is Risen from the Grave, and Taste the Blood of Dracula. Those 3 are the absolute shiznit. And Drew, if it's not a problem, I sent you a really, really great gruesome clip from Dracula Has Risen from the Grave.
Okay, I get it. I was just wondering which one we're going at here. I got it ready. Let me get it up.
This is where
Yeah.
This is where Dracula gets staked by an atheist. See what happens.
You have to believe.
Yeah, this one's my own personal favorite in the series.
Quickly, before he wakes. You must do it now.
God, I hate it when that happens. Oh!
Pray. You must pray. I can't. You must, or he won't die. You pray, you're a priest. You pray. He won't die. He isn't going to die.
Y'all done fucked up now.
Now, I never understood why wood. When I was a kid, I was like always curious why wood was the thing, and then I was told that it was only blessed wood. Like you couldn't just stab him with anything wood. It had to be something that was blessed, like holy water to work.
No, that's all
That's
bullshit.
that was because the theory of using wood was because of the Christ's cross was made of wood, so that's why. So if it was blessed, the wood would have some effect. That's what I heard. Now I don't know why else it would be wood. What other reason would there be other than that?
It's easy.
The purity out of
wood.
the purity out of nature, and you would stake it to the heart, which would like technically like temporarily kill a vampire.
Well, it also would pin them to the ground. Was
That's
the idea too.
That
Yeah, but you could use an iron thing. You could use all kinds of different
did.
stakes that would do that.
they
though.
did. They did. Yeah. The whole point of the staking is to basically bind the vampire to the ground so it can't get up out of its coffin and go around sucking people's blood.
Yeah, and it was creepy because when they suspected a corpse back in the day was a vampire, they would do the staking, and then air that was trapped in the lungs would escape and push out over the voice box a little bit, and they would stake them and then hear like a or a moan, and they'd be like, "We got one! We killed another vampire!" Like it made it more real for them, even though it was
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so
and then
why wood? Why does it have to be a wooden stake?
Well, it became part of the folklore. Like silver bullets, for instance, that has nothing to do with werewolves. That's a vampire thing, right? And folklore. But
Well,
now
actually, I think it's the other way around. I think what silver bullets became folklore, became a vampire thing. It started out as a werewolf thing.
It's the other way around, actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive. Because the whole thing about silver being kryptonite to werewolves was created by Kurt Siodmak when he wrote the screenplay for The Wolfman. That's where that originates from. Because while, Frankenstein, of course, comes from Mary Shelley's legendary novel, which it was just her birthday yesterday. But
silver again has religious significance. It's something
absolutely,
that a lot
purity.
Has like a lot of things were made out of silver. Yeah,
purity. If you pierce your ear with something that's cheap in terms of metal, you get an infection. But you put in silver,
right?
It gets pure. It clears right up. So there's this interesting, understanding that silver means pure.
Silver will melt ice. You know what I mean?
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Silver melts ice. Yes.
Oh shit, that's rad. But here's the thing, though, is now that is part of the folklore, and it's a part of folklore that doesn't come from a novel. It doesn't come from folklore. It comes from the movies, and every vampire movie, every werewolf movie always has what's known as the rules. And it changes from film to film. And what are the rules? Whatever the writer wants them to be. Preston Acevedo, he's doing Doc Salem. He doesn't have to be completely slavishly faithful to the Mary Shelley novel. He has over 100 years of books and movies and radio plays and all this other shit where he can just cherry pick and choose. Same thing with Vaughn when he with Monster MD, right? It's just like, if you're doing any particular monster, what are the rules for that monster? Whatever you want them to be. You can pick and choose, or even come up with something new.
Yeah, it's part of the fun, man, and it's also part of what's cool. When it comes to Monster MD, because I get to pick whatever will lend itself well to like science, things that we can wrap our heads around, So
that's a great approach.
Yeah, it's how I ground it in Monster MD. Usually, that's cool.
Well, that would explain the needle that is like sent through, right? And then the poop jar also.
yeah, all natural ingredients.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's part of like how I want, I want it to be like, if you know your stuff, you might be able to figure out like how he's gonna defeat some monsters with a little bit of science, Right. It's part of the fun, but yeah, that's the cool way of, or that's the thing about Monster MD. Other movies have done that, but But they've applied science to vampires or this or that. But like, I'm just trying to do it my own fun way. So yeah,
there it is, brother. There it is. And let's see, what would be another really cool one for everybody to have a little peek at? How about the official trailer for The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires? That's a really interesting case because
trailer you gave? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Hammer films were very popular in Asia, and so Shaw Brothers Studios reached out to Hammer And they were like, hey, well, why don't we do a hybrid kung fu vampire movie? And that's exactly what this is. Oh God, if they'd gotten Christopher Lee to play Dracula, it would be perfect. If they Cheyenne.
From Warner Brothers, who crashed the action barrier with Enter the Dragon, comes.
Oh my God, no, they did not. From Warner
Yes, they
Brothers
did.
with Action Barrier.
This shit's on Blu-ray, son.
I'm just saying that wouldn't fly today. You went with the whole like the whole Warner Brothers Action Barrier. You would totally get people pissed.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
And the Shaw Brothers, masters.
Yeah,
of
dude.
kung fu,
This is so
joined
Shaw.
forces to create the first martial arts.
It's Shaw and Hammer.
ever filmed.
It's amazing.
Yep. Two great tastes that taste great together.
Yeah.
The peanut butter and
It's a kung fu
chocolate.
theater.
Man. Yeah. And this is a genuinely creepy movie. I have to say, some of the horror scenes in this are really genuinely disturbing.
I'd be disturbed if they started dancing to Michael Jackson right now.
The whispered word is
Oh, they ain't gonna do that. They're gonna
Here.
stick those pitchforks up your ass.
and very close.
What you must
That's a
understand.
lot more than 7.
There
Oh, yeah.
appears to be more than 7 of them.
Well, that's because those aren't the vampires. Those are
Those are the
zombies
zombie-
that the 7
Yeah.
golden vampires have raised as
Right.
their infantry.
Nice.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
kind of like Legend of Anubis kind of thing with the fucking army of dead. I
Yes,
gotcha.
yes, and on
already
if you're on horseback, those are the 7 golden vampires.
And you too will be eternally dead.
Yeah, Peter Cushing.
Yes, and our man Peter Cushing. Nice.
Look at that makeup work.
Yeah, but did you see that trick? How the bat suddenly turned into a vampire?
Yeah.
Well, I saw the trick of how the bat, like they did a cut scene and they had the vampire dude just jump there. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, except it wasn't a cut. It was a single take.
Oh, you're talking okay. When you say a single take, I mean, let's go back and look at that because
Yeah, check this out. It's done in a very cool and clever way.
are you trying to do with the shadow? Is that what you're trying to talk about?
Yeah. Right?
Because he was already there. See?
Yeah.
See, isn't that him there?
No. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the other one.
See, because I thought that was the transition that I thought you were thinking was cool.
No,
It's like-
no. It's the other one.
See, all of a sudden it's like a different fucking thing.
Yeah. That's a cut.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That also was a cut. It's just that it's just that he jumps out of the shadow.
Yeah, it's like making movies around the house is what that cut is. Yeah, it's part of the it's fun. But it is a cool mix of kung fu meets vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, cut it down.
But I was tripping out because he was saying there wasn't a cut, and I'm like, that's definitely a cut.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, no, you're right.
The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires. Starring Peter Cushing and Julie Edge. Did
he just like tear her sleeve and she just kind of like gave him a fuck you face?
Yep.
I don't have to see that.
Peter Cushing and Julie.
So stop!
Don't! I need
Stop
that.
it! Get off!
Filmed entirely on location in Hong Kong.
At the Shaw Brothers Studios.
David Chang, a new kung fu champion in the Black Belt Hall of Fame.
Strike at their heart!
Yeah. Shot through the heart.
My brothers cannot survive another attack, Professor.
We've destroyed half their number. We know these creatures can die. Don't give up now.
Yeah, I believe the reason they cast David Chiang, who is fantastic, I think the main reason they cast him is because his English was pretty good.
That was good. I guess you have if you use a reference to
better-
comparison, right?
Better than my
Comparatively.
Mandarin.
Yeah, no shit.
That's like saying Jackie Chan's English is good.
It is.
He can. He can speak English. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's your Black Man's Radio.
Fight to the death against the sevenfold forces of evil.
Wait. See, he got the rest of her outfit off too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And the date's going well.
Shit gets real at the climax for this, I have to say.
Martial arts horror spectacular ever filmed.
You know, I've seen a lot of like real life kung fu fights, like dudes that know kung fu. You know what I mean? Like fighting each other using fucking weapons. I fucking actually was in a fucking martial arts studio where two dudes fucking got so pissed off at each other. They were just start off as a hand-to-hand combat, and then they actually introduced weapons, and they were trying to kill each other and shit. Yeah.
No.
Real. Yeah. It does not look like this shit. This shit's fucking choreographed as fuck.
Yeah,
absolutely it is. That's good.
It's old school, and it was inspirational to better kung fu choreography as the film, Chinese action films worked on. But I mean, when I was a kid, though, the Shaw Brothers stuff just blew my mind, dude.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah. But like when I look at it now, when you're used to like things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons, like level of choreography and like the artfulness of it and the speed of it, like you look back at this and you're like, oh my God, this is like slow-mo. This is, hokey.
Well, here's the thing. The martial arts in this isn't as good as it is in like, say, some of the other Shaw Brothers movies. And some of the like Crippled Avengers, for instance, the martial arts sequences in that are absolutely fantastic. But if you want to understand why the kung fu fight scenes look the way they do in the Shaw Brothers movies, it's because the fight scenes, the fight choreography is something that was learned by these martial artists in the Peking opera. And that's how things were in the Peking opera. Basically, you'd be trained since you were a little boy or girl, right? Jackie Chan wrote about it in his autobiography and said basically the way that he and the other kids were treated, him, Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao, he said it would be like felony child abuse today. But they ended up with these incredible skills, but it was all about live stage performance, right? So that's why the fights have that choreographed look to them. It's because of the Peking opera. It's only until you had Bruce Lee come around that suddenly the film started getting more ambitious, trying to make the fight scenes a little more realistic.
See, I never heard the Peking opera thing, but I did hear that the same people were used over and over and over again in like almost all the fight scenes, like the same stuntmen over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And they were all so used to like they didn't have to like choreograph ahead of time because they were already like based on where you were standing, how you were swinging at them, whatever. They already had a choreographed response to it. So that's why, to my understanding, that's why they went slower, so you could see it coming, so you could do the proper choreographed maneuver in return.
Absolutely a part of it. Absolutely. Yeah. And those dudes would actually sit around and wait for work. They would actually sit around and hang out on the set. It's just like wait for somebody.
Well, yeah, that actually is something I also heard about kung fu movies that are made in Hong Kong, is that you would have 30 guys sometimes just sitting around hoping that they would get some work because because the director would be like, oh, okay, this doesn't look right. I need about 10 more guys. Anybody here who can fight? Okay, I want you and you and you and you. And so they would sit around and watch it be made just because there was no other way to get money at that point. And they were trying to get themselves, and if you can get into that stuff, obviously, and you do really well, you might shine. They'll ask you to come back,
Yep. And this is why, if you watch carefully, you'll see Jackie Chan getting his ass whipped, actually getting his neck broken by Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. And actually, Sammo Hung is the guy that he fights at the beginning of that. But I'm sorry, you were saying, Vaughn?
Nice. Oh man, I was just gonna say, like, you also have Peter Cushing, so like they couldn't be too blazing fast with the kung fu. Like you gotta let the British guy be like, no, fire, get away, foul beast.
Here's the thing about Cushing, though. Here's the thing about Cushing. Cushing evidently was like a British soccer hooligan physically, right? Like that. Like he was like a jock when Christopher Lee first met him, and he ended up getting tuberculosis, and that's how he ended up with that very skull-like face. But he never lost that basic physical strength, and you see him do like some incredible physical feats in these movies. And Captain Clegg, for instance, he does some amazing stunts in that. He does a really great stunt in Horror of Dracula where he jumps up on that table and books and runs and pulls down that curtain.
Yeah.
And
what a badass!
Yeah, he really was, and he actually was like physically fit. Like even after the tuberculosis, he had like this athletic ability that he could use in his film.
Cool, man.
Cool. And supposedly, of course, like the nicest guy ever.
Oh yeah. What other movies do we have to check out?
Oh, Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Simon?
The Kronos and did we check? What was the other one? The Prince of
the Mummy.
Prince of Darkness.
Oh, Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Yeah, that's a great one.
I love
Kronos too.
Oh, my favorite. I was so happy when we did Rod 10 and I, we did Film versus Film, and he had never seen this. He actually ended up really enjoying it.
Did you guys already bring up that Sleepy Hollow by Tim Burton was set up aesthetically to be a Hammer film? And
absolutely.
All of its looks.
He took
from all that.
Yeah. There's also a little Barbara Steele Mask of Satan tribute in that. But yeah, this is okay. This is what you need to know about Captain Kronos. This was the second movie that Brian Clemens made for Hammer. It was intended to be the first in a series. Sadly, it was not, because it got dumped by the studio. It was made in 72. It got released in 74, just to a few theaters. I am a Captain Kronos fucking lunatic. I have the original lobby cards.
Now, I have a question. Would he be a Captain Kronos lunatic if it wasn't dumped? That's the thing. Is it because it was dumped and it's more exclusive and got the bastard treatment? Is that why there's the extra love?
No.
Okay, I was curious.
But you got to see this. It's on Amazon Prime. But let's watch this scene because you'll see.
I've seen it. It's been like since I was a tiny child. But I swear I fucking saw it like in '76, dude. So.
Kronos is a PIMP. That's all I'm saying.
And that ain't easy.
No. Big talk of the battles they won.
Actually, it is for him.
Lost battles about them.
Yeah.
What about you, Captain? Just Captain.
Perhaps he stole the coat.
My hair is better than
Tell me,
yours.
did you lose your battles or win them?
You know, it is. That's something that's just like cracks me up. You could totally tell that he was cast and the way they cast other people. Look at like his hair is like really nice and clean and well combed, and the rest of these guys have fucked up hair. Look at that.
Horst Jansen was a good-looking dude for sure.
Well, I'm just saying it was like a casting thing. It's like they want you to like him better, so they make him look better.
Yeah, that's
just so you'll like him over the other ones, just kind of aesthetically.
Hey, you.
Dashing Hero versus Ian
Hendry.
No.
How do you sleep at night? On your belly or in a hammock?
On your wife.
In the ground. You see, we're interested. Put back.
His name is Grust.
Put back will do for me.
Not me.
Why?
Because I don't like it.
Well, it really has that 70s slow delivery. That timing that's designed to have music in the background, but there's no music.
Didn't like it.
To make sport of a physical affliction is both impolite and cruel. After all, I wouldn't dream of calling you Ratface.
Uh-oh.
Fatty. Big mouth.
Oh. Okay. Somebody's been watching Japanese films.
Absolutely.
Dang.
See ya.
Now, when I was a kid, we used to love to get killed so we could overact our dying scenes just like that.
Oh God, it's fucking hell, man.
Oh, guess what? We got hit.
What? For which one?
Stream unavailable.
Oh God damn it. Man, we just can't use can't use clips. God damn it, man. Can't fucking win, man. God damn. Are we still live?
Not on YouTube.
Not on
I think
YouTube.
we are on Facebook, we're still going. Yes.
Okay. If we're still on the Facebook, at least that's something. God damn, man. What a pain in the ass. Oh, Tommy Salinas, we are, if you're, that is, oh wait.
So if you're in the chat and
heroes.
you're watching us on YouTube, hang out, don't split. If you leave, you will not be able to come back until the video comes back. And YouTube is deciding whether or not they want to do that. So
yeah.
I can appeal it later, and they'll put the video back up. But for now, their automated bots have decided that one of the videos we showed belonged to somebody else's copyright. So they said, fuck that. Even though we are doing commentary and pretty much everything that we show here promoted the video that we were promoting. So people are going to come and watch it again later. So
It's transformative.
roughly, it was just all around stupid as hell that they do this. But yeah.
We're used to it, though. We're used to it. Comic Book Bob asks, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they make 3 of these Asian vampire films? No, they only made that one.
Uh-huh.
And Tommy Salinas, if you're still with us, we're taking a look at Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, which sadly was
why don't you
done by the studio.
Well, it looks like the stream is now back finally. So
F you, YouTube. Wait, who owns YouTube?
They decided for a moment
Google,
to not
right?
make the stream available.
Does,
What's
yeah.
that?
Who owns YouTube? It's Google, right?
Google technically owns YouTube, but actually not anymore. It's not Google anymore. Now it's Alphabet. Just so you know, it's Alphabet that owns YouTube, and they also own Google.
Okay, I was just, and who owns Alphabet?
But when YouTube was purchased, it was purchased by Google, but because they had to be split up, they became Alphabet, and so Google is Google and YouTube is YouTube, and the parent company is now Alphabet, which was Google, but they just changed the name to Alphabet.
I'm just trying to figure out like who this finger is intended for.
You go ahead and give it directly to YouTube.
Whoever, yeah, F you, YouTube. You're number 1. God damn it, man. What a pain in the ass. But yeah, Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter was supposed to be the first in a 6 or 7 movie series. Brian Clemens says that he wrote 7 one-page treatments for the rest of the series. And Kronos wasn't just going to be fighting vampires. He was also going to be fighting mummies, werewolves, zombies. There was going to be some time travel involved, hence his name, Kronos. And I mean, has there ever been a cooler vampire hunter? Hell no. He smokes weed. He meditates. He's a ladies' man. He's just a PIMP, man.
Hell yeah.
Vampire Circus. Also currently on Amazon Prime. And
I think I'm going to have a Hammer marathon this Halloween season. For
sure.
Sure.
Excellent choice, sir. Excellent choice.
I miss these movies so much.
I'm already planning to have a. I wasn't going to do strictly Hammer, but I am definitely going to be having a. For anybody who's watching that's in this general area, I'm going to be coordinating some kind of Halloween party, an anti-coronavirus party. Hopefully, we'll be done with being locked out of shit. Hopefully by fucking the end of October, which is fucking 2 months from now. Holy fuck, we should be okay by then, right? I want to have a fucking horror movie, a horror movie night, starting out with some of the classics. You know what I mean? Where it's like you make maybe 4 movies. It's like a whole fucking long event. Starting out with maybe some of the classics like the horror, but then really going to the extreme stuff at the end of the night. Fucking blood and guts, gore and crazy.
Fulci.
Hey, well, let's put our heads together and make a playlist, guys. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Hammer movies for me are comfort food. And whenever I deal with like a really bad depression, I find that I always gravitate back to them. There's something about those movies that's good for the heart. That's just, I don't know, cozy.
Yeah.
And we have a Helmut Kirschkin. He says, "Greets from Germany, the homeland of Captain Kronos, Horst Janssen." That is correct. And
Wie geht's, Helmut? Wie geht's?
Wie geht's? And Thomas Salinas says, "I recommend Twins of Evil with Peter Cushing and those super hot Playboy twins." That is an excellent choice, sir. An excellent choice. Woo!
Good stuff.
The opening of Twins of Evil is absolutely fantastic. That's part of the Karstein trilogy.
Yeah, YouTube's really dropping the ball. They gave us a copyright hit, pull a stream down. I don't even have an email.
Pull the stream down. Pull the stream down.
Yeah, they actually have to. They should be giving me an email before they pull the stream.
That was an Edward D. Wood reference. Just went over everybody's head.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
put the string. You don't remember put the string from.
It sounded like you were doing one of your Schwarzeneggers, actually.
My Lugosi sounds like Schwarzenegger. Oh god, that's terrible.
All right, let's play this Vampire Circus.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this in forever.
Oh, it's so good.
I saw that one.
We invite you to go.
See if we can get myself all the way struck.
Emma.
Right. So now fill in some blanks.
Okay, Vampire Circus. Yeah, this was one of the later films. They were trying to get a little more inventive with their vampire pictures, and boy, they got very inventive with this one. It is about, of course, a vampire circus that comes into town and proceeds to wreak havoc. You'll notice that the strongman is played by David Prowse, who you would probably all know better as Darth Vader.
And he got to play Frankenstein once, didn't he?
He played the monster a number and like 3 of the movies. Yeah.
He was a good monster.
Yes, terrific.
Good old Prowse.
And Helmut Kirschkin says,
"Yeah, Hound of Baskerville, that was
and
good."
We're good. Thanks, Helmut. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Simon?
I said, "Yeah, Hound of Baskerville was a good one too."
Which one?
Hound of Baskerville.
Oh, Hound of the Baskervilles. Yes, that is an excellent one.
Arnold Lugosi, Bella Schwarzenegger. That's Chris Mackey. He's a guy from my neck of the woods.
What's up, Chris?
He's asking where should we show those flicks. I don't know, man. I mean, seriously, if I'm hurting for a place, I'm sure the 559 probably let us fucking. But there's probably a lot of places that'll open up. It just depends on whether that they'll be allowed to legally or not. I mean, it's fucked up, dude.
If you have a projector, you can actually, like one of those DVD projectors. You can play it on a big curtain or like a big white sheet or on like the side of somebody's house. I know that people are doing that.
Again, in that if it's still fucking coronavirus bullshit, the fucking cops will come and shut it down. So.
No, fuck.
Bullshit.
Yeah, there's lots of huge brick walls that are blank and beautiful around here that we could take a parking lot and set up a freaking film festival. But
then the fun police would come.
Yeah.
There's somebody having entirely too much fun over there.
Look at this old guy with the ball sack chin. It's pretty wacky.
Yes. He's the Burgomeister.
He's a Balchinian. He still got the ball sack on his chin. What's up with that?
This looks like the circus I went to recently. They set up a huge tent in this big parking lot. It was the Paranormal Cirque, and it kicked ass. It was cool.
That sounds badass. When was this?
And this was just a Saturday night for me, man. I went to an 11:30 showing, so it was their last late night showing, and it was intense. And they greet you with chainsaws, and give you a heart attack, and then you pay them. But they did all kinds of cool, weird, more avant-garde circus stuff. Very beautiful, very dark.
Nice.
Yeah, the circus has to change because in a lot of areas it is now illegal to have a circus with animals. So, well, it's because of that they treat the animals like shit and people don't like it.
Yeah.
And so like Cirque du Soleil kind of circuses and dark, spooky circuses and more where there's more clowns and more entertaining. They've had to become more creative to the truth of the matter is circuses don't have to be about animals.
No, they don't. Not at all.
The circus is about insanity. It's about a traveling fucking chain of fucking gypsies of some kind throwing some kind of weird entertainment at you. That's what the circus is supposed to be.
These people were, I think this was an Italian circus, and they've been all over the world, and they were definitely like fun party vagabond wild weirdos. It was hot. It was cool.
So who knows where the circus first came from? Where the first circus is from?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I don't know.
Would you care to enlighten us, Mr. Drew?
Well, I was under the impression that they came from what we know as Romania, to my understanding, where the first circus came from.
Okay,
interesting.
To my understanding,
so they were
like the first official circus, calling it a circus. That might be different.
Yeah. I will say this: I work in film, and I end up filming a lot of animals. And I did talk to someone who works at a zoo with elephants, and they were like, "But my first job was working with elephants at the circus." And I thought they were going to tell me all these horror stories, right? Like this, like what you hear, that's what they show. And she was like, "Actually, like a lot of that's exaggerated. Like, dude, towards the end days of the circus, like we were really good to the animals. We were like doing our, like giving them the best quality of everything we could." So I was like, all right, that's actually kind of nice to hear. But they ended up abandoning the animal thing. So
like I like my understanding, I could have to Google it to search a history if I wanted to actually know more detail. But to my understanding, to my memory and my education level, to whatever it is on this thing, to give all my disclaimers out there. Circuses, I believe, started in ancient Rome. Helmet said this. Ancient Rome. I see it there now, actually. Ancient Rome, and it was people from outside of Rome that brought the circuses in. They had people they conquered, brought them in. They did the circus, but the circus was a traveling circus, so it wasn't like it was in just Rome. It was Rome, and then it was like on this side of town, and then it left town and went over here to this town and did that kind of stuff. To my understanding, that was it. But Rome, obviously, because it's not a circus if it doesn't travel, just so we're clear. They have to be traveling.
Don't go to the circus comes to you.
It's not a circus. It can be a freak show or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Right.
An actual circus has to be traveling group of freaking gypsy style characters. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Because like back in the 1700s, they would establish big permanent circuses, and they would be like a permanent circus, and they would build a big thing like in England or France.
Yeah, that would be a carnival.
Okay, they call them permanent circuses, though.
They called them a permanent circus?
Yeah.
Because the whole reason why there's a circus tent is because it goes up and down and travels. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I like to think of the circus as traveling too, and it's more romantic. It's more, traveling. But they have had what they called permanent.
Well, there's Circus in Vegas. I mean, that don't move around. That's in one spot. You know what I mean?
Oh, Thomas Salinas says Hammer had a lot of Frankenstein's creature interpretations. Were they restricted to the Shelley source material and not have the rights to the Universal Carla Flathead version? Yeah, the Universal makeup, which was created by Jack Pierce, the flat top and the bolts in the neck and everything. Yeah, that always has been a trademark of Universal Studios. And the monsters.
Yeah, so there's
in
different. There's different.
Are always different.
I had to Google it for my own satisfaction. It does kind of. There's two different definitions of what a circus is. One approach is it is a traveling band of they use the word eccentric individuals that put on a variety of performances, right? And then the second one is an entertainment medium that includes clowns, acrobats, and animals and that kind of stuff. So there obviously is two ideas of what a circus is there. So
yeah.
I have a soft spot for them in my heart. I mean, anybody that's read Six Gun knows that. There is a romance to the circus. What blew my mind was when I learned who the Romani people were. They actually came from India. That's why they have that dusky skin. They're like the descendants. Yeah, the Romani came from up from India into Europe. Isn't that cool?
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, actually, did they come from there or were they brought from there? Because you see,
they just traveled like nomads.
Well, at a lot of that time, just so we know, people would there would be marauders that would come to your area. And then they would just like claim like 50 people as now like livestock, and then they would move on. And a lot of people there's a lot of like, say for instance, there's in the upper Russian snow region, regions. There were a lot of people that were like kidnapped and brought over for hardworking like slave shit. You know what I mean? And so they have this really interesting like characteristics up in that way, where you'll have like these really dark skinned people with these big old huge dark circles under their eyes, and they look like a combination between a Persian and a German.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course that's the thing is like any nomadic people or any people that have been subject to a diaspora, they're going to intermingle with the populations that they encounter and create basically a new ethnic group. Thomas Salinas says, but India itself is multiracial. People in the northern regions are more Indo-Iranian, Eurasian, and people in the far south are more Oceanic.
Yeah, you know what? India is actually part of Asia, so why don't we just call them Asian?
We do.
We do.
We call them Indian, though.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, every time I saw my Indian friends, I was like, it's an Asian invasion. This one girl I knew was Punjabi Sikh Indian, and that meant, I didn't know that meant she had a lot of white in her. She had a lot of European in her bloodline. Yeah, it was interesting.
Huh. And the Sikhs, of course, those are the people who the men grow their hair very long and wrap it up in a turban. Yeah, and also I believe you're legally allowed to walk around packing a dagger. That it's a religious thing.
I would probably say no to that one, because I don't think that they give a fuck about your religion.
Oh, dude, if you imagine like you're wearing a turban and packing a dagger and you're trying to get on an airplane.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine if you're wearing a turban. No. Imagine if you're wearing a turban. If you're wearing a turban and packing a dagger in Walmart. All right.
Sure, yeah, man.
I think it'd be more dangerous to do that to the individual than it would be to try and take that on a plane.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of the people in my Oklahoma Walmart already, though. Knives.
There's a lot of Sikh. They're not Muslims. A lot of people make the mistake of saying Sikh Muslim. There's a lot of Sikh. There's a lot of Sikh here in my area. There's a big, huge culture of them in the Central Valley. They're really friendly. I actually get gas at the gas stations owned by by family. The liquor store the closest to my house where I buy a lot of booze is run by them. You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's you know, they are some of the nicest, most friendly people. There's nothing negative about them at all. Like, seriously, they're like the most peace-loving, most friendly. I mean, and it's culturally, it's spiritually, it's so like I hate, it makes me angry when somebody thinks that they have to be worried about a turban dude. You know
I
what
agree.
Or they, you know, really, it makes me mad because they're some of the nicest people I've ever freaking met in my life as far as a culture goes.
And it's just fucking ignorant, you know? It's ignorant as fuck.
Well, ignorance always irritates me, so that's just a given.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But let's take a little bit more of a peek at that.
15 years ago, we thought we'd killed a demon. But he's been waiting.
Man, we need to bring the Hammer aesthetic back to horror.
Oh God, yes. It drives me crazy that Hammer Studios is like making movies again. It exists, and they're not making gothic horror films.
I know. Get on it, guys.
I know.
They just need the right script, I guess.
No,
Well,
it comes down to the right sets. You know what I mean? You got to really have. It's when you're making horror. The reason why a lot of people choose horror as a genre to even start composing a movie. It's just about pure love. It's usually about what can I afford to make a story. You know what I mean? So they get it. So now the reason why the horror films that Hammer did were so cheap is because they had access to this stuff, to the buildings, to the castles, to the statuary, all that kind of stuff. And as time progressed, that shit went away. You know what I mean?
The genre Lin movies are as cheap as they come, and yet they have these incredible castles. They have these incredible cemeteries.
That's just tell you that is how you do it. I've done some amazing photo shoot work and stuff like that in a cemetery, right?
Yeah, man.
We just go because it's all about using lighting, and you got statuary and monuments and like selling things. There's places. There's a park here in it's just a park. You know what I mean? There's nothing super special about it. But in one area of the park, there's like this one small chunk of dense forest. You know what I mean? There's this one small chunk of dense forest. So like I can make forest shots in this one small chunk of dense forest. And then there's a big fucking lake like fucking 30 feet away from it. You know what I mean? That has like almost no forestry at all. You know what I mean? So
that's exactly what they were doing with Hammer, man.
Yeah,
all these locations were like very close to Bray Studios.
Right. And because of what was there and the time allotted, that's why they went. Now, I appreciate the Gothic era hardcore because it is very beautiful. It's got lots of flavor and culture and texture and taste and design and intricacies, and there's gargoyles and there's all kinds of cool shit. But
I've seen your thesis on it.
But as time progresses, that stuff falls apart, and if we don't maintain it and don't replace it, it's unusable. So.
The very first Gothic I wouldn't say the first piece of Gothic architecture. I would say the first very famous Goth building was Strawberry Hill, which was built by Horace Walpole, who wrote the very first Gothic story, which was the Castle of Otranto. And he built it as a sort of ruin, right? It was just to say he built it so that it already looked like it was old and crumbling and falling apart. And sure enough, after he died, it collapsed like the House of Usher. Now, how fucking goth is that? You can't get any more fucking goth than that.
I'm so goth, I'm dead.
my house crumbles after me.
That's
follows me to the grave.
That's amazing. I would want to do something like that for my death. I'm afraid it would just end up being like a Jenga falling over or something.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a house in I think it's in the town is I want to say Edgerton, like is the name of the town, but then it has an old house that's been condemned, right? So it's all boarded up and like that kind of stuff, and then it has like these high iron rod fences, right? But in the back there's a fucking gravesite.
Ooh.
So it's so it's just super creepy. Like I remember when I first fucking saw it, I was driving by and I had to stop and go back and look. You know what I mean? And it's just like overgrown because nobody maintains the grounds. But there's a fucking headstone, and you can see that like it's not like a flat, like just a headstone and flat ground. There's like a fucking like concrete fucking something sitting on the ground next to the headstone, like where it's almost like it's a casket, but it's too short to be a casket, so it's kind of like a cover to where it's buried. So you could tell that they didn't just like throw the dirt over the casket. They set the casket in and then covered it with concrete fucking slab. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And that's those kind of places fucking trip me out.
Helmut says, I live in a small town in an area called Odenwald, which means Odin's Forest. We're surrounded by forest. Have an old castle. Oh, yeah. There's lots of old castles in Germany, but there's especially a lot in France and Italy and Spain because they weren't really bombed a lot during World War II. Thomas Salinas says, let's see. Are you cats on board with the recent attempts to create a classic monster cinematic universe? Oh boy, I've got some opinions on that. What do you guys say?
Like that dark universe thing they were trying to do?
Yeah, because I don't understand why they haven't done that before. I've been saying like for decades that they should bring the monsters, the Universal monsters back and make them scary again. Get really good horror directors and make them scary again. And then, of course, you can have the, the House of Frankenstein where you throw them all together, the monster.
I think that's eventually. I think eventually that's going to happen. I think that's just like one of those things that's eventually going to happen. And because of the nature of the Universal monsters, it'll be Universal Studios probably doing it. The problem is that it will have all the fucking tropes of a high budget presentation. And so it will suck.
Yes. Yeah, like the Tom Cruise Mummy, which was heinous. And then there, of course, there was a recent
let's be real. The Tom Cruise Mummy movie was visually stunning and impressive. The fucking there was so much about it that would have been cool if it was well written and well produced.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's not a Mummy movie; it's a Tom Cruise movie.
Well, yeah, but if it had been a Mummy movie and they had used a lot of those fucking visuals, it could have been fucking cool as fuck.
The budgets are too big. That's the problem. They need to bring the budgets down. Now, they did do that with the Invisible Man remake, but the Invisible Man remake is a piece of garbage because there isn't
having a big budget is not the problem. Trying to spend that whole budget on things like CGI and trying to overplay it because you have a big budget is wrong.
Exactly.
If you take that big budget and fucking build yourself a fucking gothic fucking Hammer universe with it, you know what I mean? That would be a fucking great use of it. You know what I mean? Instead of fucking making a big green screen studio.
But here's the thing: you don't need a big budget to do that. You look at something like because I'm thinking like, where do you see the contemporary influence of Hammer? You see it in movies like The Company of Wolves by Neil Jordan, right? That has an incredible Hammer aesthetic to it. And then Neil Jordan went on to do Interview with the Vampire, which is very, very Hammer.
But if they build their own gothic universe, then they can build shit into it that they can't do that you would when you're working on a fucking pre-existing thing with a low budget. They could build a house that has fucking actual fucking rooms. Reusing the sets, build it where it has fucking shit that they can add in extra lighting, extra controls. They can design it to be fucking a high dollar high reusable, long-term life of a product that wouldn't look the same over and over and over again, but have that kind of fucking, oh my God, this is awesome as fuck feel across the board with them high budgets. And instead they rather fucking, waste it on, 14 years of fucking CGI production. I don't know.
I know, it's terrible, man. All those movies that are shot in front of green screens are just fucking hideous.
Well, what it is that it really comes down to like when you talk to these people who make these kind of movies, they fucking their mindset is nowhere near where our mindset is, right? They're like, okay, we need to sell an idea that is going to super wow these people so we can suck money out of them to make this thing. You know what I mean? So they're trying to we're going to have Tom Cruise and he's going to do this and this is going to happen and this big thing is going to happen and this huge thing is going to happen. And over here, this is going to be, so it's all these big, huge, you know what I mean? And it's never about the quality of the story so that nobody ever bothers to write a quality story to go with all these fucking big wows that they're doing.
Because they're just going from set piece to set piece to set piece. And then like the plot is just designed to string all of those set pieces together.
The plot was basically designed to string all the visual effects together. That's basically what was done. And I mean, because let me just tell you, Tom Cruise is a good actor. I have seen him in a lot of shit where he fucking wows me. I've seen him in shit where he wows me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't have a problem with him as an actor at all.
So so it really comes down to, are we, just trying to make something visual stunning, or are we trying to write something that's fucking awesome and we have and throw it? What was that futuristic one that what was the name of that fucking movie where he was the clone of himself over and over and over again, all these different spots? What the fucking was the name of that movie? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Day After Tomorrow, or
no?
He keeps it's like
cloned.
Die, kill.
Yeah.
Killed.
I thought that was. I actually enjoyed that.
Not Day After Tomorrow. What was that? That was a disaster movie. What was the one he was in? And it was like him and Emily Blunt or whatever.
Yes, I always like.
No, the one with Emily Blunt was the one where he was where he kept coming back over and over and over again. Every time he died, he started the same day over. That was a really fun movie. That's not the one
I thought so too.
That's not the one. So that he was cloned in another movie. Edge of Tomorrow was the one with Emily Blunt. Edge of Tomorrow. Right.
Yeah. That one. It was Edge of Tomorrow. Yes, and that was a great one. Oblivion is the one I'm thinking of. Oblivion.
I haven't seen it.
You must watch Oblivion. You will enjoy it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I will add it. I will certainly add it to my list.
It's one of my favorite sci-fis, not because it's like this great sci-fi movie, but because there's like all kinds of little elements in it and the ways that they fucking shot it. Like, okay, like he lives in this fucking tower, right? And he fucking flies down and fucking does like surveillance and stuff like that's one of his jobs. All right. And in this tower, instead of it being green screen around them, right? They shot it in a fucking 360 screen with the reverse projection. So all the light that they're projecting on the screens that surround him actually lit his environment.
That sounds cool.
So it created the most perfect visual effect for that. Like you could not, like it was better than the CGI. And then there's all kinds of little cool things. Yeah, check it out, Oblivion. If you dig sci-fi movies and you don't hate Tom Cruise, you'll dig that movie.
Okay, I definitely will. Yeah, I mean he's not a bad actor. He's actually a very good actor, I think. It's just that people have difficulty separating the art from the artist. You know what I'm saying? They have difficulty separating the actor from the role.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. When I think of Tom Cruise, I compare two movies side by side in my mind, and I think of like the differences. Like, okay, there's the Top Gun Tom Cruise, right? Who's fucking singing to fucking Kelly McGillis in the bar. You've lost that love, super cheesy, fucking oh my god, you know what I mean? But then there's
the 4th of July.
No, that was the Top Gun. You know what I mean?
I'm saying then there's like.
Yes,
it's Born on the
Born on 4th of July was a great fucking. He was fucking
awesome.
Incredible in that. Incredible in that.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean? So, this complete spectrum of and it's really comes down to the movie itself. Like we're talking about movies that's putting Vaughn in pain here.
I thought this was a horror show.
Okay, I get it. Tom Cruise. Let's get back to the blood and
More
guts.
Vampire Circus, damn it! More Vampire Circus.
I was just gonna say, when it comes to Universal, rekindling their classic monsters, I think lower but like medium budgets that have a lot of and a connected universe that's planned out and very creatively done. Maybe bring in like Guillermo del Toro, maybe like bring in some like really good visual horror minds who love the stuff like it was their own children,
right?
And have
a
them
reference for the source
with
material.
you set up the universe, and then you work with really good top writers to make killer scripts for every movie and connect every movie in a simple, clever way, a la like maybe the Marvel movies were all connected and ended up coming together later. And you could build a really good horror cinematic, like, classic monster movie universe again. I think with ease, I think people would love to see that.
If it was up to me, I would have some kind of combination between a Geiger and Hammer fucking look to it. If I could, if it was up to me, I would combine those two looks because they're my favorite. The goth of Hammer and the fucking sci-fi-ness of Geiger. I would put those together, and that would be the fucking sick, twisted fucking monster universe I had.
Okay, guys,
Nice.
I gotta go.
Peace out,
man.
Simon. I'm gonna have to peace out soon. too.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up and let everybody, because we're probably going to digress 10 or 12 more times before.
How do you cover Hammer in like one show? You can't, but
we'll cover Hammer more. I mean, obviously we it's just that we'll have another. We got See, Metal saw Oblivion. He agrees with me.
Yep.
Oblivion was sweet.
Oblivion. Yeah, really good visuals. I think I might have seen it, but it was so long. It was a while back, and don't remember all of it.
And he mentions Tropic Thunder. Fucking Tom Cruise is fucking hilarious in that.
Yeah. Oh my god. He's fucking too funny in that.
Yeah.
As the film producer kind of thing.
Yeah. Joel Silver, basically.
I almost feel like he was making fun of people on purpose. Like there were specific people he was targeting.
Oh yeah, definitely Joel Silver. I think.
That was Joel Silver. Mockery.
with the big like Popeye forearms.
The dance at the end was killing me.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean the religious bullshit, aside, I think Tom Cruise is a major asset to entertainment. So, but that's just my opinion. And this let's see where this trailer here. Vampire Circus.
15 years, cousin Thanos. But now
on Amazon Prime right now, people.
To give you life.
But must they all die?
All.
Yeah, so everybody, you said it's on Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? There's fucking a lot of stuff. If it's Amazon Prime, Shudder, those are great locations to find some old fucking classic horror.
Most definitely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so people,
and if you're a horror consumer and you then we don't have to tell you this, but if you're somebody who's new to horror, who's just trying to who likes like a couple of horror movies they've seen and they're trying to find new horror to fucking turn on to, when you turn on to something like old Hammer movies and that kind of stuff, remember the era is relevant. If you don't think of like a Hammer movie, if you're not thinking that it was made in the 1970s, you're not approaching it like that, you may cheat yourself out of a good story. Hairstyles and old style lighting is not enough to ruin. It should not be enough to ruin an old horror movie.
Definitely not. Definitely.
Yeah.
If anything, I think they give them. I think that these movies have aged very well. That they have a real charm to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up so Sim can take off and doesn't feel like he's ditching us.
No, I have to boogie too because
hard line at 10.
Yeah. Preston's doing something with I think Tim Vigil's brother in like a few minutes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that why you don't call him exit only anymore? I'm just curious.
What? Oh, I thought I should maybe lay off on that. You know, it's one of those things. It's just like at a certain point, you know, like maybe you're like starting to annoy the person.
I was just teasing you because
I know. Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
All right, everybody. Thank you for
hanging
coming
out, Vaughn.
to another episode
Thank
of
you, guys.
Horror Talk. Yes. Thank you to Vaughn. You guys make sure that you follow Vaughn on Twitter. Check out Monster MD. It's this fucking great comic Vaughn wrote. He broke $85,000 on his campaign, which is fucking terrific. It's fucking very terrific. The comic looks fantastic. We've covered it on this show a couple of times. You know, probably at least, if not like 30. Yeah. And but I'm excited for it. I can't wait to read it and actually laugh at all this shit that I've been waiting to laugh at for fucking a year now. So
Yes.
it's going to be fantastic. And also check out other comics. Nat the Mercs from
Tales from the Natverse.
Tales from the Natverse just launched in the last week, and
8% right now.
Go give that some love. If it's called Tales from the Natverse, but you can also search Nat the Merc and it will come up.
Yep.
I had trouble finding it as when I was trying to figure out how to spell Natverse, even though it's just NATVERSE. But it didn't come up for me because I typoed. All right, but Nat the Merc is a little bit harder to typo, so it's just. Oh my God, the cat's just knocked the camera down. All right. So.
Good ending.
That's what they do. And yes, Helmet, Horror Express is the shiznit.
Yes. And so everybody, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. We will see you next Monday on Horror Talk. Please like, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you don't miss an episode. If you're on Facebook, make sure you subscribe to the page by clicking the little thumbs up, follow button, all that kind of stuff.
Don't forget the big monkey with 2 guns, and the captain with the love.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely check out Six Gun Gorilla. And then I would be honored if you would check out and back Captain Love. It's a great sci-fi little thing.
Most definitely.
And you know the Blue Muppet fucking nailed it on the fucking hauler, dude. We made some changes on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day that was, and
the man is a genius.
My cat did it. YouTube. My cat did it. Cat did it.
Good kitty.
My cat's laying on the computer.
That's what they do, man. They make themselves comfortable.
Look at the choices that YouTube's given me, by the way. Is that not hilarious?
Adele can't win.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Is there the ABBA last video in there? That's ABBA. There's ABBA there too.
Oh yeah, that is. Oh man.
Since you're gone, when is Monster MD coming out?
Okay.
Where can we find it? Look for Monster MD on Indiegogo, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes. And what? I think the last 4 pages are being colored.
No, we finished. We finished those last pages. I'm polishing the book right now and finishing the sketchbook, and then we're going to print.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, man.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Very excited. I'm very excited for that. So, okay, we are now going to end the broadcast and talk to you guys next week. Thank you again for